Morning, Thomas. You are indeed the first one to say hello. We're going to make some more of those curly QS hooks. My brother asked me to make him something for his home, so we're going to make him a hanging prop rack. So curly QS hook, and then I'll get back to working on my get back to working on my Hardy tool, cut off Hardy. And then more S-hooks. Might as well just go ahead and bring everybody in. Good morning. It's chilly this morning. I had to put on some gloves and then hang out, put my hands in the fire and warm up the gloves so I could get my fingers to thaw. What does it say it is out here anyway? It was cold enough to freeze water barrels. A shim of ice on top if there wasn't enough of a load. It's only, it's not cold. It's 38 degrees. Cold enough touching all this cold metal to sap it out of my fingers. So, I'm going to put on some of that safety gear. Let's see. Yep, I forgot to do that. Let's make that happen. Yeah, you don't want to plunge your hand straight into the fire without some protection, so pair of gloves, then put your hand in the fire. That worked pretty well. My fingers don't feel quite as numb. No snow. We did see some flakes a little bit ago, but nothing is standing out. Well, we don't typically see a lot of snowfall here because it normally doesn't get cold enough to have too much snowfall. Put those warm gloves back on. Oh yeah, the other safety device, earplugs. In my case, automatic noise canceling earplugs. Thanks to spending a little bit extra on some Apple AirPod Pros. Wise money spent for me. All right. It's not a yellow fire, it's an orange fire, so it doesn't really need to be a yellow fire for working 1/4 inch. So I'm going to bring up the color a little bit. All right. Looks like it got warmer in some spots than others. No, that's not what I want. That's what I want. Freaking fat fingers on a glove. Sharp taper. Basically, that was a misstrike, but no big deal. same way you would do start a leaf, two-sided taper. We'll make it into a round taper later. And for those who don't know why I just mentioned a leaf, that's because you're new to the channel. And for the last year, my first project of the day was just a good beginner project, which is to make yourself a leafy keychain bauble. Go back and watch some of those live streams. You'll watch the progression from somebody who had a little bit of skill to somebody who has a little bit more skill. Ah, thanks, Thomas. Hey, Kevin. Was it in any doubt that you might not make it? You're always at my live streams. Something interesting going on? Ah, see? We don't need yellow heat. I'll pull that taper back so it looks like a nice progression down. You can see why I don't worry about going four-sided taper, because in the long run it automatically centers itself. Nice long taper, knock the corners off. All right. In a black heat like this, I mean, on such a small piece, this isn't cold, but it cools off really fast. You can do a lot of planishing work at this temperature, so that's what I'm doing. Before I put it back in the fire and possibly burn it off. Hey, Shane. Oh, that's awesome. Wish her happy birthday. Double eights. That's a really lucky number in some traditions. All I'm doing is giving it enough of a strike, not to dent it, but to smooth it as I roll it around my face on my anvil. The straightness of things I want to move, just adjust a little bit as to how much you strike on one side versus another, but never strike hard enough to actually leave a hammer mark. The idea is to take out all the shiny, any dull to shiny spot transition until it's all just smooth looking. That looks pretty good. So we're ready to scroll that. Put a tiny little scroll on the bottom on the tip of that. That's all ornamental. This is not what you have to do to make an S-hook. This is what you do to just add that little bit of flair. As Roy always says, just keep it moving. That's about all we need. Just a little bit of flare. You don't want it too big because otherwise you won't be able to get a pot over it. Pot handle, that is. Oh, that's awesome. Did you post photos somewhere I need to go look at? Let's see, did I burn it off? I did not. We're good. Very easy at this point. Trying to decide if I want to tighten it up anymore. That's pretty good. All right. Go ahead and quench that little tiny bit off. Start working on the curve. Of course, it's twisting on me. So let's get it all back in alignment. There we go. Love working with metal because it is so cool how malleable something so fundamentally solid is. Huh, that's interesting. It could have something to do with how long the message is. If the message gets to be too long, then sometimes it'll get filtered. I don't remember what the length was I set it to. I just didn't want people coming on here and putting big ads on the thing. Yeah, your comments. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. Kevin needs to answer that because I can see it, obviously. That's what we were saying. Let's get the wacky, no marky. All right. That looks good. And why'd I do that? So I wouldn't have to go over there and quench off the curly Q at the end here. All right, now, because this is mild steel, I can quench this without worry that I'm going to cause any harm. And then we get to do a nice little estimation, which let me see. I think I eyeball it this time. I think I'll cut it off that long. I don't even have to really cool it off, but I think I'm gonna. There's a little mark there for some reason, so let's just cut that off like that right now. Oop. That's fine. All right. Cool off the rest of that. Throw it into the stack for doing next time. All right, tong time. Tongs to tong. Bring this back over here. Couldn't help but hit the floor there, but if you want to take that as an opportunity to drink some of your tea there, Kevin, feel free. Alright. Unfortunately, my bolt jaw tong is sized for a different project now, so we're just going to have to do it like that. And grab my little Roy-inspired tong clip. I have found what the shortcoming of this tong clip is, and it's simply that going to grab it with a spiky part sticking out probably isn't all that great. So if I were to do it again, I might turn those leaves perpendicular to the clip itself. Morning, Christina. My beautiful wife, ladies and gents. Oh no, Thomas, now that means I'm going to have to probably, put stuff there. For those who weren't able to read it, Thomas had said, I think the last time I was on your live, I was out in my shop making steak turners. I think they turned out nice, and Roy said it looked nice as well. And if you get the opinion of Roy saying they look nice, that's a pretty good compliment. Alright. Hot enough to start making the taper. Pull the taper back a little bit. Heat it back up, put it back some more. Quick to heat, quick to cool. I start getting followers on Insta, they're going to have expectations, man. I follow the good Smiths on Insta. They're always posting stuff. I don't know where they find the time. Alright, let's take off corners. To octagon. Which you have to hit a little harder at the thicker spot, a little less on the thin spot, and then you get to pretty much an octagon shape. Double check the opposite side. The anvil discs work. You won't have a whole lot to do there. Alright. There we got 8 sides. Go ahead and warm it up. All right. I don't know if you're talking about me, Trail Dust, or yourself. I am slowly decomposing, that's for sure. The whole week was a question of whether or not I was going to be able to get back out here and do the work, for fear that my back was going to be a problem. How many other people in the chat do like me and preload their pockets with the painkiller of choice so that they can be ready when they know the ache is going to happen? Got something like 8 or 10 bags of feed to put away today, and a couple of them to open up and place where they belong, a stall to clean, maybe even some coops to clean too. All right, that is now rounded. Get it warm enough to scroll without cracking. Crack kills a project, so yeah, I hear ya. I have definitely seen that too. I don't understand it. All right, so let's see if my if I'm actually smart enough to do this. And I think I scroll it away from me. In other words, towards the other scroll. This is always the hard part for me, is imagining things as they should be when done, and the process to get there. Warm it up again. I mean, I definitely want people who follow that are in the craft following me. So there's that. So I don't know if I would want to turn off my follows, but let's go ahead and tighten that up a little. I think I got it right this time. We'll see in a second. As soon as I curl it back in the other direction as an S, did I get it right? All right, back into the fire. Curly Q up. The sun is bright today. I'm staring practically into it, which is kind of hilarious because sunlight here is always a challenge. But I also happen to have, there we go, trying to burn myself. Put that back in the fire. I also have a spotlight to try and compete with the sun. That's not very useful. To get the parts of my face that land in shadow as I work on this stuff. Sorry, Shane. I know you were going for it, but apparently it's not going to work. The jig is up. He no longer sees you as a hot chick. All right, thinks I needs to bring around the other side of the S a little bit more to make it functional. So let me put that end back in the fire, make that happen. Try to make ourselves a nice balanced S hook here, and for once not burn any part of it. So far I'm lucky enough to say I've been successful. See if I can get this in the fire right. Come on, Coke, get back over the top. There we go. Coke made a nice cave. Unfortunately, the S-hook doesn't fit back into the cave the way it needs to. Put this out of the way. There we go. Morning, Jeff. Kevin, that sounded like a great idea. Yeah, coffee. Hard to hold onto an S-hook with a pair of wolf jaw tongs. We'll get her done. Cool, or say, should say hot. Let's go ahead, whack that around there. Look at that. Get everything in alignment. Alignment is good. Okay, that's got a good shape to it. I'll show the shape. We got ourselves a nice S-hook. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can warm up the middle. Put some pretty twist in there. Again, without burning anything up. That's the challenge of the day. Got pretty close to a perfect curly QS hook last time, except that I ended up burning a piece. So I need to move the piece I'm going to work on next. I've just been preheating it in here. I let it cool off in there. And now I was letting it preheat in there. It's a heavy piece getting in my way. There we go. Now, let's get this buried in there a little bit. There we go. Afternoon, 9, 10, 11. You must be on the easternmost coast, or yeah, I can't imagine. Even further east and you end up in water somewhere over there. I'm not sure what's over that way. Any further than that, you're in Jurgen's territory, where it's evening, or going on late afternoon anyway. So you could be over there talking about a late afternoon. Take this, I'm going to turn it around, start heating from the other direction. I want the middle to be hot, so I may have to place this a little differently than I did. And what I'm looking to do is be over here. So let's get this prepped. That is this thick material. Yep, we're good. That'll fit in there nice. Switch over there. Vice cam. Just making sure my vise is preset. And while I'm at it, make sure my there we go. Twisting wrench is preset. All right. We'll get this right in there. That's going to straighten it out real nice for me too. Set that down. Get a hold of this. Where do I want to grab it from? Right there. Tighten it down just a hair. Ah, it cooled off fast there. I'm going to have to heat it back up again if I want to get it to twist lower, which I do. Let's flip it over. I'll have to actually cool off that twist if I want to actually get it where I want it. There we go. Back in the fire. Let's get the part hot that we want hot. Think about this. I need to be able to hold that there, but so I have to, okay. I have to hold it the way it is, but I have to put it much deeper in the fire. There we go. Any here going to Central Virginia Blacksmith Conference in March? Nice. So for any newbie that's watching this, or somebody who just thinks it's fun to watch Jack do this craft but is never actually planning on being a smith, this is why you never walk into a blacksmith shop and touch any of the tools on the rack by anything but their handles if you're going to touch anything. But you should probably not touch anything without permission. Morning, Rob. Because as you can see, I'm having to put the tong nibs, the part that holds onto things, right into the fire. They're going to burn you. And while this morning I'm wearing gloves because it was just freaking cold out here, it's about time to take them off. All right, we're going to go ahead and cool off that twist all the way except to the point where I want the transition to be kept. I'm going to go ahead and clamp it, not on the twist because I like the appearance of the sharp edges. And we're going to go ahead and see if we can continue that twist. I can. Or can I get it all the way around and look right? Nope. It's close. So we're going to go ahead and put it back on the fire. Warm it all up again and then finish that twist all the way around. Very close to being perfect. And I'm going for perfect this time, or something closely representing perfect. Because I want these to go into my brother and sister-in-law's house and be something they look at with some pride. Flux Fairy. Might get in trouble doing that. All right, let's bring it the rest of the way around. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Go ahead and do the wacky wacky with the no marky marky. Get things straightened up here. Come on, look out. Surprisingly, did not hit the ground. Again, wacky wacky with the no marky marky. Looks good. All right, next part is pick a side of your S hook and turn it into a curly Q. An offset curly Q, mind you. For those who haven't seen me do this one before, what we're doing is we're taking the standard S hook, and just think about this for a second. This is for a pot rack. It's very common to see S hooks. They're much smaller typically, but it's very common to see S hooks. They're not even decorative typically on a lot of pot racks. They're just, you know, little, what, 1/8 inch or even smaller round rod that's been bent into an S. And they hang up there on the hook, on the rack, and then you hang your pot on the other side of the S. Simple. But the problem is, if you hung the rack such that it's kind of a little bit high, like you should, so that you can actually have pots hanging underneath it, there's a very good chance that every time you try to lift the pot off the rack, what you're actually lifting is the S-hook off the rack. And now you've got to figure out how to get that damn S-hook back up there again. So my little invention is to fix that by turning one end of your S-hook into a curlicue such that it won't just lift off. You actually have to give it a 90-degree twist to lift off. So we're going to take the bigger side here and we're going to do that. Yep. So we'll go ahead and warm that side back up again. And because it ends up in a curlicue, it doesn't have to be significantly bigger than the other side. The rod that it's hanging on isn't a big rod. It's also about the same size material as the S-hooks were that I spoke of, somewhere around 1/8 inch, or maybe even just a little bit smaller, something into we move into gauges now instead of inches in measurement. So, back into the fire. Grab my scrolling tongs. I'll need those here in a minute. Move my heavy piece over here again. As I use up fuel, of course, it all shifts down. That feels like clinker. Yeah, it sounds like clinker. I don't know if you can hear that. That is not what it sounds like when cooked coal hits metal. It doesn't go clink, clink, clink. That's definitely clinker. We'll go ahead and put this up there with the rest of the dragon snot. Grab that piece too. That was a big one. That piece, put it up there. Hawaiian music. Ah, he started. Cool, cool. Say aloha from me. We're all part of this big ol' blacksmithing ohana. All right. My turkeys are over there being all big and fluffy again today. I've had a turkey hen who started laying about 2 weeks ago, so we've collected a bunch of her eggs, and either they'll be new turkeys or they'll be fertilizer. Ah, we lost my fire cam. Oh no! Not the most important cam, but it's an awful nice one to have. There we go. Get that back where it belongs. I must have hit it at some point. Heavens knows it probably didn't jump off on its own. All right, put this over here. Scrolling tongs. Scrolling tongs. Ow! My tools attacked my toes. So I don't wear steel toes out here for 2 reasons. One, I don't own a pair of steel toes. And 2, I have the question, the niggling in my head. I haven't figured it out yet what the answer to that is. Nobody to ask that's authoritative. Maybe you guys know. But it seems to me that if somehow your boot were to catch on fire, making a piece of metal that could transfer that heat to your toes, in your boot would be not a good thing. So I haven't decided yet. I'm not working with big enough stuff to worry about it. All right, that's looking good. Just sitting in the fire, warming itself up. The little curlicue on the end is out of the way. We're going to go ahead and see if I can start working that. Now the one thing I have learned is that curlicue has to go straight up for this to work well. So that's all we're doing. We're getting it up to straight up. Little curve, little outer twist. And now we got that outer twist. That should work to allow us to take it, if your rails are running along the length of my anvil, pull it down over the rail, twist it, and now it just sits there. So I am concerned that that may be too high up. Let me think about this. So rail, twist. Okay, no. It's a matter of, it doesn't, having it stick up too high just means you have to put it, it isn't really too high. It's actually kind of decorative that way. But it does mean that as you put it on, you can only put it on one way and twist, or you end up in the wrong direction anyway. So, should be fine. We'll test it out on mine later this morning. If there's anything wrong, I'll do some modifications. But I believe that's it. And this time I did it on purpose from memory rather than grabbing one, because I just wanted to see if I could. A sure sign that you know something is you have to teach it. If you can teach that thing, then you're pretty much on mark as a subject matter expert. But until you can teach that thing, you're still learning it yourself. And that's fine too. So, at this point, I just wanted to get to the point where I'm a subject matter expert, because I have to make a bunch of these. And I don't want to have to do a reference every time I do. Okay. We're not going to make it all shiny. We're just going to knock off some scale. And then we're going to put some wax on it. It doesn't have to be super smooth. Hands aren't going to be touching this all the time. It's going to be pot handles. But it is nice to get the twisty parts looking shiny, because then their edges stand out. I think actually, yeah, that should do. Let's go ahead and get the wax. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get the honking big piece of metal into the fire. All right. This is not needed anymore. This one is. This is not needed anymore. Yeah, I can hold that with that, right? We'll see. Maybe not. So I will use these. Come back to it. All right. So this is probably where I could get away with using my glove, but I don't want to teach anybody bad habits, much less myself. I'm going to lose the gloves is what I'm going to do. Nice to feel the metal in my hand again. All right. This is not hot enough. I mean, it's melting the wax, but it's not penetrating the metal. So let's go ahead and set it in the fire. Ah, Sully. Thanks for jumping on here. Let me scroll. You've been on here for a few minutes. I've been talking. Looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, must be a duck. All right. Thinking, wow, why is Jack going live in the middle of the night? Then I remember, I got off work. Oh my goodness. You poor man. Yep, blacksmithing Ohana. There you go. Bringing your brother to Quad State, huh there, Kevin? $18 man. You are made of sterner stuff than I. I've pulled those kind of days, but they're typically just days. I can't do the night stuff, period. This body has been hardwired from too long ago, like from youth, to be falling asleep around 9 o'clock at night. It was hilarious when, with my first girlfriend in college, that I would literally be sitting on the floor watching TV with her and her parents and falling asleep. It got to the point where they ended up buying me an air mattress. All right, there we go. Now we got the smoke. Smoke is the sign that it should penetrate. You don't want so much smoke as you don't see any gloss left on there, but you want enough to see that it starts to basically boil off. All right, there's that side. We'll grab it. We'll do the other side. And there we go. One curly Q S hook done for my brothers. Hit the floor. It got low, low, low. All right. It's all coated in wax that's still smoking, so now we just take our little rag. It'll hit the fire probably in another couple of sessions as it's getting to the point of being saturated. Wipe off the excess and some of that dirt that ended up on it. When it hit the floor. Try not to burn myself in the process, trying to get into nooks and crannies. It's got a good color. That'll look pretty up on their rack. I have to make that too, or buy the rack. I don't know. I'll figure that one out. I mean, I can definitely fabricate a rack. I don't know what I would do to forge a rack. So. That is done. Now we go and hit something heavy with a bigger hammer. We'll put this here for a minute. Let everybody see how beautiful it is. Stick that there. I will even do the craziest thing. Let's see if it'll let me. It's currently my internet out here, so hopefully it doesn't impact anything. We're going to go ahead and take a photo. As much as I like Fire Creek Forge, this is not a photo for advertising for anybody, except maybe me. All right. And we'll go ahead and see if I can actually add that. That would be awesome. All right. And it looks like it didn't kick me off of the internet either, so good. Next one. 12 a day, my goodness. You know, you could actually blacksmith. I'm just saying. So first off, I'd have to make it to 3 p.m. Oh, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Okay, 3 p.m. I mean, yeah, that is prime time for open up a nice brew. Wow, my main camera is being flaky as all get out today. I hope it's not too distracting. I'll have to do some investigatory work to figure out what's going on there. And then, of course, the other one just decided to stop altogether. That's fun. No rhyme or reason as to why. I'm hoping you guys got to see the twists. The three attempts to get the twists right. Bane of your existence. Well, I'm telling you, in this case, this is one of the few times where I feel like repeatable outcomes, um, identical repeatable outcomes, so that's the key, is overrated. You want to see the skill of the blacksmith in there. You don't want to see the skill of a fabricator, right? So in this one time, I think it would be. I hope I'm getting that right. Well, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look like it's doing anything I want it to do. Stupid camera. What are you doing? But if indeed you're trying to do a production run of identical pieces, yeah, that is a fun challenge. Um, and the only thing to do is have jigs, obviously. Um, what the heck? I'm about to give up on the whole making that camera do its job. Battery low. Why is my battery not charging? That's bizarre. Okay, well that explains why it's not working. I'll deal with that later. Fortunately, I don't plan on doing much more work over there. So, let's bring this back over here where the work is going to happen. Give this a... I mean, I'm just having all sorts of problems with my cameras and stuff today. Turn this into this direction where you guys get to see a prettier view of the final result. There it is. 3 scroll brackets, a bar running through the top of each scroll, and it has to be loose fit, 5 foot long. Wow. Yep. Yeah, I mean, when you absolutely have to have identical pieces, and there are times, absolutely there are times. If you're making, I mean, there's also the fact that sometimes you're making a whole bunch of pieces to go into a whole thing that has to fit a certain dimensionality. You absolutely have to have repeatability. And that's when it's time to go and, become a real blacksmith and be able to afford the metals necessary to create the jigs, because you're not going to get by with cheating. You're not going to eyeball that. But hopefully that means somebody's paying you if you're having to be that repeatable in your project. All right. This is a massive piece of metal. It's going to take a minute to get it up to temp. I can just pay more attention over here. What it does mean, I could switch to this view and read what you guys are talking about. I am thinking I need to do it like that. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I would expect you would understand that a lot, Kevin, considering the beautiful benches you've made and things like that. Do you wing it or when you're making those, or do you plan them out ahead, the drawing or something like that? Is it all just in your head? All right. Cool enough to hold now again. I can just put it in my pocket before I forget it out here. Won't burn my butt. Apparently, I could say ass, because now it's not a curse word anymore, apparently. Nobody's bleeping the word. It's funny, I'm much better at turning this crank left-handed than right-handed. More practice. Getting jiggy with it. All right. Let's see if we're getting any color in this metal yet. Yeah, we're starting to. Let's pull some more fuel on top. Big Willie style. Does he do his own live ads, or is it being interjected by YouTube? It's a live stream, so it'd have to be he does his own. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not to having my own t-shirts point of my live streaming career yet. Though now I think that if I did, I would have to borrow and give credit to let's see who, to Shane for having some sort of bending jig on there saying getting jiggy with it. All right, let's see if that's hot enough to actually move it yet. It is, but it also is hot. Still, the challenge is keeping hold of the dang thing. It just wants to twist right out of my, jump right out of my tongs. Alright, let's get it hotter. Make my fingers not tingle so hot much when I hit it. Forging a mustache. Give me a second. Why did that switch? Well, at least it's not broken. I'm gonna leave myself a reminder because I think that's a great idea. Shane, how do I contact you if I wanted to? I've got an idea I'd like to collab with you. And put that into blacksmithing. All right. Let me go ahead and make there be a reminder on that one, or else I won't remember to do it. I'm going to try and follow up with you before the next week. Insta. Okay. Will do. Are you kidding? It's the only way I actually do Instagram is my wife and her best friend messaging me all the things they think is cool and I should see. So I know how to message. I just have to find him on there and I'll make sure I do. Let's make sure we got good airflow by sticking this stick in the bottom, giving it a little bit of a turnover. There we go. All right. Let's see if I can hold on to this thing. Nope. Gonna have to find a way to deal with that. I have an idea. Let's hold it from top and bottom and see if that helps. It wants to pivot, but it is staying there. And I probably changed scenes. Nope. But it is trying to catch something on fire. Let's go back and put it back in the fire. In the meantime, pick up my tool. This will be you'll be well, at this point in this live stream is when everybody becomes well hydrated, because they're going to take lots of drinks, because the stuff's going to hit the ground a lot. I don't think I've ever slid into anybody's DMs. A lot of those supposed followers have slid into mine. Slither, maybe. Yeah, I intend to drop the stuff often at this point. It is very hard with the tongs I own to hold on to this stock. I probably shouldn't have reliefed the corners on this, on the Hardy shank, whatever, so early, because it makes it impossible to hold on to this thing. But live and learn. Well, get this really hot so I can actually move some metal the few times that it's on the top of the anvil. Six taps, nice. Yeah, I got my youngest out of my brew shed, brew house. Yeah, he's taken that up as his bedroom while he finishes college. But once he finishes college, he'll be making good money as a software engineer, so he'll be able to find himself a good place to live that isn't my brew shed. And then I can get in there and start brewing again. And then maybe I'll have to pick up that project, a similar project sometime. I plan on I have two big brew tons. When I say big, I'm talking 15 gallons. I've got the good old starter brew bucket, 5 gallon. And then I got a Mr. Beer that I almost always use for the purposes of cider. Let's see. Oh yeah, that looks good. If I can pick it up, I can hit it. And this is a project where hitting is important. I just watched somebody else do this same project with the same material this week. All I gotta say is, I don't think he showed all his heats and hits, because he's doing it just like me, manually. We'll flip it over here. All right. I'm going to end up forging that back in again as it's starting to fish lip. Oh, you're not seeing it. That's the wrong one. Let's hit the right button. There we go. You see it's starting to fish lip. It's not horrible. This is the perfect time to do it. We'll forge it back in flat. And I did decide, watching a few videos, that rather than doing a Brian Brazil curved cutoff hardy, I'm going to go flat, as I honestly can't find a benefit of curved as a hardy tool. I see a benefit of flat as a hardy tool, and I see a benefit of curved, that's funny, as a slitting chisel. But I'm not seeing that as a cut-off hardy tool, so that's why I'm not going to do the Brian Brazil style. Nice. Oh, that's not a horrible idea. I was wondering how I was going to be able to continue doing much in the cooler months, because my shed isn't well insulated and it's not heated. That's a great idea. What's the benefit you see of having it slightly curved there, Kevin? Yeah, Jeff, that was what I was doing. That's what this is now sized for, is to be able to get it from the corners. But the problem is, the corners on this shank I already relieved when I was getting it sized for my hardy hole, and so they aren't corners anymore. So I basically goofed up by being overly concerned about getting it to fit the hardy hole. In a minute here, we'll see if, because I'm going to have to do some downward strikes on it. But yeah, if you look at these, I sized it open last stream, and it's just not good enough. Okay, got it. All right, I'm going to switch to a hammer. I don't mind causing any harm if I do something funny. And let's see if I can get this out here. And so if you look at the end of that, you'll see I already relieved the corners. And look at that. No more fish lip. Let me see something here. I need this to go this way if I'm going to do this and start spreading it, or put that into that. Back in the fire. That's not a bad idea. That may be the way to go. Yeah, but if the problem is I have the tong clip. It's right here, too close to the color of my dirt. I have the tong clip, but unfortunately, because it doesn't seat well in the grooves, it just twists right out, and then you lose the dimension necessary for the tong clip to hold. So, let's see. This one I'll put away for now. Let's do this one. Spread it this way. Yep. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be making the air I would expect. So let's unblock some holes. There's another piece of clinker. This batch of coal has been clinker heavy. The other bag that I had, I almost never had to clean out anything. This one I'm cleaning out the clinker all the time. And there we go, hitting the camera again. Everybody loves when that happens. That camera's getting a workout today. All right. All right, that's feeling good. Let's drag some more coal on top. I started looking into getting my bouncy house, or not bouncy house, that's not what I've got. The source was actually a holiday blow-up decoration, but I think they still both have enough pressure. We can find out. But anyway, blower in here, since it'd be nice to just have this going when I have something this heavy to heat, instead of me sitting there cranking. Ah, good job. I have now tucked that well under, so I can't get to it. Easy peasy. There we go. There we go. Yep. So I have actually something to add to that topic. The piece of rebar, that definitely sounds like the right way to go. I'll have to do some cleaning in my garage so I can get to my welder. But Sully, to answer your question, I will say it depends. I watched Fire Creek Forge this week working on a massive Damascus billet. And he got some serious fish lipping under his press. To the point where he was realizing that maybe making massive billets isn't the way to go. So that's why I say it depends. But the other part, I do agree, there's a couple of things that I've heard on it. One is the surface material wants to move faster. The second is that you don't have that problem as much if you don't forge the end. If you spend your forging time behind the end and leave the end to its own devices, a lot of times letting it cool off, it'll let it cool off slower to maintain the heat more because you got more mass there, and then wait till the end to work it, you won't have fish lipping either. So even though otherwise you would end up having the surface want to slip faster than the rest. So these are just things I've been seeing. This is, again, not something I can be authoritative on because I just don't have the experience. Those are the things I've seen. I do wonder if you let the heat soak more, if it wouldn't be as big a problem. And a lot of folks, when they're doing press work, they're spending a lot of time allowing that metal to soak because they're pressing for a reason, i.e. making Damascus. Your resistance is futile. Yes, I've heard the same thing. I also, you know, that is exactly what I've seen. This one smith who's got, you know, a blacksmith school thing going on, but hasn't contributed for a couple of years now. But he was a blacksmith teacher, and that's where I saw that business about not forging the end till the end. All right, let's see if I can actually move this material side to side. That's not hot enough. I'm too busy talking, not busy enough moving air through the system. I mean, the Borg are a kind of Ohana, right? Trying to, but working with this much metal, you got to get it really hot. All right, let's see what I can do here. Oh, that's exciting. Have another sip of tea there, Kevin. Try that again. Not even close to hot enough. All right. I'm not smithing, I'm just busy trying to make metal hot. One day I'll get back to the smithing part. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that, and I do that a lot, especially when it's with tapers on small stock. That's why I will start the taper at the end. But when you're working really big stuff, watching what I've seen people do, they will start their taper at the back, progress it towards the end, and then finish it off, leaving the lump on the end until the very end. Well, that camera is just not happy. I'm going to do something real quick. See if I can. It's not the camera. So either the Mac is not happy, Yeah, probably the Mac. Yeah, well, I mean, let's not. That's also part of the situation, right? You have less heats to make mistakes with, or not mistakes, but have that progression with. It's awful nice to have those presses and power hammers and things like that. So I don't work in that line of work, unfortunately. My hobby and my work do not align at all. But I've wanted this hobby since I was a kid. I saw the blacksmiths at the, take off a layer here, finally warmed up enough. Saw the blacksmiths at probably Dollywood. Ah, hammer in, nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start making that trip. Get signed back up again so I know what dates are what and make that trip. If I have to work this kind of material much, I'm definitely going to have to get an electric blower and see how fast it actually uses up my my power source here. All right, it's sparkling, which means I should be able to do something with it. Probably. Move that metal. That's looking chonky. Ugly as all sin, but I have lots of metal to move, so. Do I have to change scenes? No. I'm keep getting lucky. I'm not catching my Stream Deck on fire, and I'm not changing scenes. Melted it a little. Might have to find a better place for that Stream Deck during this. Let's put it over there. All right. You see all the divots I've made. Now it's time to start smoothing them out. Hopefully I don't cause any cold shuts or anything, but I don't think that's a big risk. We'll see. But it was time to start spreading that metal instead of, I want it to be a little bit wider than it currently is. All right. Yeah, it is. Driving me nuts. Oh, this is the long one. So, the answer to your question, was it Sully that asked that? No, it was Thomas. Sully replied, there it is. Sadly, I do not. Sucker rod is production and work over, and I'm in exploration. I find a piece on the side of the road occasionally. I'll ship you the next one or two, Thomas. There you go. So it's being caused by it being too large. I have to look and see what the max size I set it to as far as how long the comet's allowed to be. So don't start writing a missive unless you break it up into a couple of parts. But the camera flickering is unfortunately something going on with the Mac. It would require me to just end the stream and reboot the Mac to get this working properly. Let me try something else real quick to see if it makes a difference. Don't think it will, but it can't hurt to try it. And we go here, sources, Nikon, and properties. And we tell it that that is not the one, not the cam link it's looking for. Ah, interesting. It was the cam link. Might have to trade that one in on warranty. Yep, the cam link from Elgato decided to flake out. So you're not the first person who's talked about sucker rod as a good piece of source material. Is it so good as I should go down to the scrapyard a mile down the road here and see if they carry it? All right, let's smooth out all those divots I made, if it'll let me. All right, that worked. Clearly I need to put it further into the fire if I'm going to move anything down here closer to the collar. All right, good stuff. Nice and smooth now. We'll end up moving it central here in a little bit. But I start to see why, I have a suspicion, I should say, why some smiths will leave this beveled and this straight. It just boils down to, it's a whole lot easier when it's all said and done and forging it. So let's keep on keeping on. Now that the metal isn't so thick, it's a lot easier to move. just in case this didn't make it, it says, but I'd rate it no better than 4140. I come across all day, every day, other than it's air cooled instead of water quench. So what I'm seeing here is it would be easier. I just don't know that it's significantly easier, and that could be another reason why so many do curved. But I do see why so many I've seen out there are more like a butcher. It would help if you could actually see me. You probably could in the corner, but not well. So I've seen a few, right? I've seen that the many that have two tapers. I've seen many that fishtail, so a curved top versus flat top. And then I've seen a type, and I described it before, that's more like a butcher. And I don't think there's really a benefit one way or the other, except that with the butcher, you're guaranteed that one of the halves that you've parted will have a straight edge. So, you know, I'm very tempted to do it that way so that I can have that benefit. But I'm kind of joking here when I say I wonder if it's partially because clearly the forging process in doing what I'm doing lends itself towards that anyway. So let's bring it back here. My color in my fire is different today than what I'm used to seeing. It's not getting that lemon yellow, and yet I'm still coming out with a sparkler. So, don't know why I'm seeing it differently today or what. I'm going to go ahead and continue here because I saw some risers as I was finishing the cleanup last time. There we go. That's all blended back in. It's a jumpy piece of metal. All right, coming along fine. Let's get her back in the metal, in the fire. That'll get a heart beating. Remind a fella that he's not a young man anymore. All right. Okay, I can see that. So I can accomplish that, my desire easier with a, you think with a two-sided bevel rather than a single-sided. I think you're right. That means I have to work on getting that centered. Hey, Eric. More versatile, yep. All right. So, if I'm going to do that, then I need to flip it over and give it some solid wax from this side. not that hard to do. Oops, I take it back. Okay. It's harder to do than I think because I have to get it to move where I want it to move rather than at the edge. I'll think about that. Okay, I know how to do it. I just start working it from this side. Put it back in the fire. That pulled that corner out a bit though, so that's what I needed there. If that is your real name. Okay. With so much news out this week regarding, well, I just got to be straight with you guys. I've been hiding something from you, and that is I am a very complex, if often wrong, chatbot. So there you have it. Just felt I needed to come clean. The AI is okay, but occasionally it glitches. Oh, that's cool. All right. Try not to bounce out of the tongs. And try not to hit the collar. But get freaking close to it. Yep, that's working. There we go. Get some of that width that I wanted underneath the cutting edge. Whew. That's looking good. All right. It's a little bit of a banana shape right now, but that'll come right back in line here in a moment. Let's see. Like that easily. Cool, cool. All right. I can clean up the sides here a little bit. Probably in the next heat better than this one. It is just a hair out of the 90 degrees I would like it to be from my, so I'll have to work on that. That's where that decorative twist will come in. All right, back into the fire. I probably have too much material here at this point now that I'm looking at it. Context matters. Is that right, Sully? Yeah, I mean, I know the song. I can't say I ever saw them sing it, but I know the song. All over the world. I know, Fluffy boys. I haven't fed you yet. We'll get that taken care of soon. My turkeys are out here. Give me the stink eye. I woke up a little late this morning after a rough night's sleep. I didn't get out here to feed all the animals before I got started the live stream. Red Hot Steel. I don't think that's how that song went. All right. Okay. Wear this old man out. Definitely got my exercise today. And the Advil in my pocket will be welcome. All right, we're getting close to... Ow! Son of a gun. Whew! Yeah, that's a burn. Piece of that... Whew, that hurt like good. That's going to be a nice blister. Piece of the forage scale popped off and landed right in the crook of my thumb. Whew. If there's anything that might convince me to clean my material off before I start hitting on it, that would be it. All right. So Eric, I made this already. I'll put this out here so you can see it. Turn it around this way so you can see it from the other direction. We'll go ahead and do it this way, aka my curly Q S hook. That is for hanging pots on a pot rack so that when you take the pot off the hook stays where you wanted it. So my brother and sister-in-law asked me to make them something. And so I'm making them that, a bunch of these. Then I'll decide what I'll do about the pot rack after that. And then from there, I need to start building my collection of hardy tools. We'll start with the traditional hardy, which is the cutoff. And so that's what I'm working on now, taking a length of jackhammer bit, keeping the collar on, cutting off links that are appropriate on each side, and then progress from there. We've got a pretty good progression going on, so scroll a little bit. Alicia, I see you and I appreciate you. I'm sorry I don't have the ability to spend a lot of time staring at what you're writing, but I did get the gist of it and I do appreciate it. I will go back into LinkedIn and read more. And let's see. Tick to Metallica and Tick, nice. Pantera more than Metallica. 3/4 of people I work with weren't even born when I saw Metallica. Yeah, it definitely is doing a good job of getting me drenched. Had to shed a layer. All right. Let's go ahead and clean up the sides on this thing. Shoot! What am I catching on fire at this point? Fortunately, nothing. I keep getting real close. It's a hard... Let's go ahead and hit it from behind. So I can maybe push it back. Yep. Dressing it from this side to push it over, and that worked. I wasn't sure, but it did. We got a nice taper now on the other side, and now I can clean up this side. I don't know that I would have had the same success if I had actually kept trying it from the other side, because it would have probably kept popping out of my tongs. All right, getting closer. Do think I will go ahead and straighten up the edge. There's no fish lip there at this moment because I've been staying back from the edge when I'm forging. But we're about to start pushing a bevel down on that edge, so time to start cleaning it up. Let's go ahead and put it back in the fire, get it hot enough, and finish that cleanup. In short, just because it's a good question that I have a lot of interest in, not that it has anything to do with smithing, I think Disney's right to copyright their material, but their style, no. Simply because, as we've seen recently, they've come out with multiple different styles of their traditional stuff, whether it's the princesses or whatnot. And I'm sorry, but if they are offended by the likes of Cuphead using a style that's similar to theirs, I mean, everybody's style is similar to theirs, to somebody else's, I should say. Rarely do you see something that is whole cloth, fresh and new. Furthermore, I am not anti-AI, and those who talk about AI as if it's doing something that's different than what humans do are completely wrong. AI is learning. Humans learn. We all copy somebody at some point to do that learning. That's what AI is doing. I do believe that when it comes to copyrighted material, specifically copyrighted material, there should be some credit given to that copyrighted material, and if it's going to be sold, not just learned from, then, in other words, you can actually see some of that copyrighted material in the final product, then you need to pay for it. Just like any artist would have to do for any of the comic book artists would have to do with DC or Marvel if they were so interested in pursuing that. So that's my take. AI is just not, it is just something we've created to be humanesque. We may not be able to see under the covers exactly how the thing is learning, but we do recognize that we've taught it how to learn. And we basically have done so the same way any child learns or any adult learns. Feed it inputs, give positive feedback when the outputs are what you expect. For those in here who don't know, Alicia and I both work in the tech industry. So it's areas that we're both quite interested in. How am I going to do that? It is not ending up where I want it. And it's not ending up where I want it. I think the key is I need to be able to hold it in place and make I know how. I'm big dummy. I always forget I have this wonderful tool over here for doing just such things. Nope. Try hitting it again. Strike one. All right, let's see if that got it, or if I was hitting it in the wrong direction. That can happen. Okay, it did not get it there because I probably don't have enough heat where I need it. So let's get this taper back where I have everything lined up. Let's get the heat where I need it. And then we're gonna manhandle this thing in the vise. Sorry folks, no quench tape vise cam to show you this, but that's what's going to be happening. Because it is the right way to go. All right. Let's shove this way deep in the fire and heat up the area I have not been heating. Good night, Alexis. Be out of square. Yeah, we'll be there. We're coming up on the end of my live stream tonight anyway. Today anyway. Maybe it's time for a nap after this. No, but really, it's been a fun live stream, having all this great chat today. And Shane, look for a message from me in the near future. I have an idea I want to run with, specifically your quote. Let's see if I'm getting it warm where I want it to be. Yep, I am. Let's turn it over and keep at it. Round, huh? I'm seeing color come up the shaft of this thing, so let's get it in the vise and see if I can move it the way I want it to be moved. Which is to say, bent a little differently. And there went the tongs, the bending. Wow. I have to roll my sleeves up now because I just dropped my twisting wrench into the slack tub. Fortunately, it's mostly clean water. Almost did the horriblest thing ever and touched it. All right. Let's pull it out and see if I did any good. Yeah, that did pretty good. That's fairly central now. I like it. There's even most of the twist is out. Let me look down it. I'll be able to get the twist out next. Put it back in there. Get my twisting wrench where I need it. Give it a good twist. It's not perfect. But for this project, I'm not shooting for perfect. You know what? It's funny. It's mostly central on one side and not on the other, which means the twist should actually give me the fix I need. But I think I'm going to stop it there, folks. It has been a blast today. Not because I've been sitting in front of a blast furnace to make this all happen, but because you all have been really consistent about stopping in here, joining me on my adventure, keeping me company, entertained, educated. So thank you so much. And as always, love and light. That's perfect, Kevin. That is the most blacksmithy thing I've ever heard anybody say.